Welcome, my constant reader friends. I'm Tad, and this is Tad Reads Books and Stuff. Well, I hope you all had an amazing Christmas. And this week, I hope it carries on through New Year's, and you have a wonderful New Year's as well. All right, so we are continuing with the Marvel-ous team-up. And that is, of course, if you've been watching for any time, it's a series that Grozz from the GKBC and I do, where we read graphic novels, and every 2 weeks or so, we talk about what we're reading. Yes, we are continuing with HARROW COUNTY. Now, this is Omnibus 1. Of course, this is by Cullen Bunn and Tyler Crook. Now, Tyler Crook is the artist for the series. However, there were 2 episodes where there were different artists. And I wish, let me see who they were. I want to make sure I get it right. Artwork in issue 9 by Carla Speed McNeil. And artwork for issue 12 was Hannah Lavender. So, we are finally in the last 4 chapters of Omnibus 1. And that would be chapters 13, 14, 15, and 16. If you've been watching this series, this of course is a horror themed graphic novel. We're following Emmy. Emmy is a young girl who's coming into her womanhood and thus realizing that she is a witch and descendant of a very evil witch. So there are haints that are running through the county. Haints are like evil spirits, demons, ghosts, anything that can wreak havoc on the county. And now she's gotten to the point where she's like the protectorate of this county. People have a ghost in their attic, they call Emmy. And Emmy comes and rids them of their haint. And there's been some various things that have been going on. I'm not going to give it all away because I want you to go back and watch some of the videos that I've already created and go and check out Grozz's channel and, of course, check out his videos that he's created. So let's start now from the beginning of chapter 13. So now we're in 13 and this is now getting back, if you recall, my last video, the chapter right before this, chapter 12, I don't know if you can see it here, but it was a different style of artwork that I didn't really jive with too much. But now we're back to the regular Tyler Crook artistry, and it makes me a little bit more comfortable with the story. So as usual, we start off right at the beginning. It always opens up with a large landscape or scenery, and in the landscape, you can always see something that says HARROW COUNTY. I don't know if you can make that out in the camera, but that's what the corn stalks say. HARROW COUNTY. So it's a beautiful day in HARROW County, but we're in the cornfields, and everybody knows, I mean, if you're a fan of Stephen King at all, that cornfields are evil and scary. Never go walking alone in a cornfield. Well, this little boy, Cullen, goes walking around after church in the cornfield and starts getting spooked and getting scared. Well, Bernice is going and looking for him because he is part of her community. And here she is yelling his name, trying to find if, where is he? She's tracked him. She's seen his footsteps going into this cornfield, but no one's answering as she calls and no one's coming out. And then, hello, Bernice. Emmy shows up right behind her. And Bernice is like, are you tracking me? What's going on? No, I just miss you. I haven't seen you in a while. They're friends. But Bernice is now, if you watched last episode, starting to embark in her own type of witchcraft life. She's learning from an older woman. And so I think she's a little nervous that Emmy's checking up on her. But anyways, they talk and she explains to them she's looking for Cullen. She can't find him. But as they're going through the corn stalks, they see these bloody footprints. And now they're scared. Oh no. Are those his bloody footprints? Has something befallen him? What's going on? Let's follow the footsteps. and they start hearing noises. And then look at this. Yeah, so the pumpkin-headed scarecrows that are placed in various spots along, throughout this cornfield, it looks like they're coming to life and they're going to attack them. So they're some type of haints, and there's some reason they're attacking them. Now, Emmy usually can control them pretty easily by just, yelling at them, saying, get back, leave, get behind thee, Satan, or whatever. But these aren't listening to her. She's kind of miffed about that. Why is that? So they grab her and she's like, run, Bernice, run. And then lo and behold, here comes her familiar, but it's not the familiar that's just the body of skin. It's the actual skinless kid. Takes out one of the scarecrows, but Bernice has a bag with her that was given to her by the old woman, Lovey, that is, teaching her her ways. And she throws, it looks like corn, dried corn seeds. And she just throws them in the air, and they come down and they devastate these scarecrows. And they just, oh man, they're just torn apart. I don't know if you can see. Here's the pumpkin head of one of them torn apart. So now Emmy's like, holy crap, Bernice is using some magic. What's going on here? But they're kind of having their little discussion about that, and they see the bloody footprints again, but they seem to be like walking along, almost like they're appearing out of nowhere, these bloody footsteps. So they start chasing it after it. And that's the end of the chapter. They come to a clearing, and here we see the dude. Remember this dude? This guy's the guy that looked like the hobo. We really don't know who he is yet, but he says, after all, girl, we're family. Here we go again. Is this a brother, a long-lost brother or something of Emmy's? We know what happened with her sister. If you don't know, go check my other videos. But he's holding Cullen right here by the neck, and there's bloody footprints all around him. So that's the end of chapter 13. Going into chapter 14, again, we have a large 2-page picture, and in the moon's glowing through the window, and we see Harrow County here in shadows. Every chapter it's been like that. I kind of like it. I think it's pretty cool. So now we're actually back in time, and we're seeing a scene where Emmy's mother, of course not her real mother, Hester the Bad Witch is her real mother, but the mother that was, I guess, taking care of her when she was a baby, mother, and of course we've met her father, has a knife in her hand, and she's approaching little Emmy sleeping in her crib, and she's going to kill her. But she forces the urge down, even though this is how she sees Emmy. Not as a beautiful crying baby, but as this ghoulish thing. And she decides, you know what, I can't do this. I don't want to harm this little baby. And she packs her bags and leaves. Takes off in the middle of the night. And that's why we find out that Emmy, grew up with just her father. Just her and her father, no mother. So we're kind of getting a little backstory here of what happened to her mom. Or the woman that was, acting as her mother. And we flash back to current times. We're in the middle of this cornfield. Emmy is arguing with this dude because she says, well, you're my family, but I don't know who you are. And we find out that his name is Levi. And he kind of lets Emmy know that they might not actually be related by blood per se, but they are related in the fact that they are the few of the remaining witches, I guess they are, or magicians, and they all serve different purposes, but there's only a handful of them left, and he's one of them, and that's how they are related. he of course knew Hester. So his name's Levi. He talks about this creature we can't see with the bloody footprints. That's Mildred. And Mildred's dangerous. Wherever Mildred goes, chaos ensues. And that's what we'll find out. We'll find out that there's a group of these people that are still around. And they each have different traits that they do. So one of them is Levi. Levi says that what he does is he helps usher out people as they die, or he helps them transition into new phases of their life. So that's what he does. And he says, follow me. Emmy says, Bernice, take Clinton, get away, it's getting dark. Levi assures her that nothing will happen to them, that they're safe. But Emmy goes ahead and tells the skinless boy to, follow them, make sure they get home safe. But anyways, she leaves with Levi, and they come upon a clearing. And in the clearing, we see this giant house here, this little mansion in the middle of nowhere. And Emmy's like, well, Harrow County is my town, and I've never seen this thing before. And he explains to her that it's like their home. This is like a meeting place for these people, and it appears when it's needed, where it's needed. Every 10 years, but if there's an emergency like this, the emergency being Emmy coming of age and becoming powerful, then it will appear so that they can have a conclave. And they decide that they're going to, let Emmy know who she is, bring her into the fold, and teach her their ways. And as she walks through the mansion, she sees pictures, and for some reason she feels that she knows them all. She does go into a room and meets them. And what we have here is we have several of them. And they all look a little different. We've got, this is Willa. Willa right here is a knitter. She can knit magic. And as she knits, she can make things happen. Interesting. Then we, of course, have Mildred. Mildred you can't see. Mildred's invisible. Mildred's like I said, the ghost of chaos. And then we have Cain. Cain right here is kind of a nomadish kind of person. We've got Corbin. He kind of looks like a Phantom of the Opera style kind of spirit, ghost, creature. They're all physical, except for Mildred. We can't see Mildred. But they don't say that they're really humans. They kind of hint that they're not really even human, which is interesting. And then last but not least, we have Odessa. Odessa down here. And Odessa is kind of like a nature witch. She can cause things to happen in the natural world with animals and plants and things like that. So she meets them, and they start telling her about who they are and that she's one of them. But she's kind of concerned because she's afraid that she's going to, become a bad witch like Hester was, and she doesn't want any part of that. And they say, no, that's not who we are. And they start explaining to her what happened. Hester broke some rules, some laws, was exiled from the group, and ended up here in Harrow County. Of course, where she used mud and her blood to basically make the population of Harrow County for the most part. And really, they're saying that she did it because she wanted worshipers, and she was breaking a rule because she wanted to be a god. Even though they live a long time, they can still die, and they're not gods. So she broke some laws. We do go back and we see a point where in the past, we see the woman that, was Emmy's mother leaving. They confront her. She says, I'm going to leave. They say, you can't leave. You're not a real person. You're a piece of mud, and we can't let you out into the world. And she says, well, I've got to leave. And they say, okay, you've made your choice. And they pretty much melt her. They kill her. So they're not all that good either. They can do some pretty nasty things. All right, so that's the end of that. We're going to chapter 15. Chapter 15, again, Harrow County, on the beach. We see Hester right here making some mud people to populate Harrow County and to worship her, so she can be a god, I guess. And we learn a little bit more about that. We learn about, the group of them coming and confronting Hester, and her just really being more strong than them. And Odessa takes a walk with Emmy and says, you've got to pick one of us to learn from. And we'll take you off for a year or two, and we'll teach you the ways and the rules and the laws, and we'll teach you how to harness your magic and things like that. You just need to pick one of us. And they eventually go back to the building, and you can see how it appears in different areas of the world at different times. Every 10 years for sure, but whenever there's a need for it. And she's explaining this to Emmy, and Emmy wants to know, though, what happened to her mother. But when she says mother, she's talking really about Hester, right? She wants to know, really, why did Hester go bad? Why was she banished? Things like that. And she doesn't want to tell her, but she eventually does. And she tells her that Hester was just a bad person. She went off and was being trained by another woman who was one of the nature type witches. And she was, working with her. And at one point they're by the ocean, and Hester calls up a sunken pirate ship. The ship comes up, and she uses one of the cannons on the ships to blow the woman away, and just committed murder, killed one of her own, which is of course a no-no, and one of the reasons she gets banished from the group. But because you're not supposed to kill each other, the other ones in the group don't kill Hester, they just banish her, which is, I don't know, kind of stupid to me. But anyway, she tells her the story about that. And then they go back to the house, and the group tell her, this isn't it's an abomination what Hester did by populating this county, this Harrow County, with these mud people that aren't real people, and they're from her blood, and it's an abomination, and we have to wipe it out. No, this is my county. I love this county. I love the people of this county. And they're like, no, you're becoming a god, just like your mother wanted to be, because now the people of this county are worshiping you. They're treating you special and different than anybody else. They rely on you to save them and help them. You've got a God complex, and we can't abide by that. We've got to wipe out every living soul in this county, even the Haints as well. And you're going to stay here while we do it. And she's pissed. She doesn't want this to happen. They leave. They lock her in the house with Odessa. And they go off to start killing people. And they do. They each, in their own way, start killing people. Emmy's going crazy. She wants out of here. Odessa's kind of watching her. She says, you can't leave. She says, watch me. And she storms out the front door. And when she opens the front door, she realizes this building isn't in Harrow County. This building is somewhere else. It almost looks like hell or something. A landscape of just a desert with sandstorms and lightning. And it's just, she says, you will never get through that. You can never leave here. You will wander forever in the desert. And Emmy, of course, is not taking no for an answer, of course. There's one point they flash to, these other members of this group killing different people in Harrow County. And, of course, Levi comes across this dude. If you remember this guy, you're going to have to watch the other videos. Well, he believes he's a haint and he can just dispatch him easily. It turns out he is not a haint. He is like he's the first of them. He scares Levi. Levi drops his knife and runs away from him. So we're going to have to learn more about this creature. We thought it was just, you know, one of the creations of Hester. That was kind of like her familiar. But now this creature looks like it's going to become more important to us as we read on. Lo and behold, the skinless boy had followed Emmy to this house in the middle of nowhere, crashes through the window, attacks Odessa. Odessa does some magic and strings them up in a tree. And Emmy says, no, let us go. And the tree crumbles and the boy and Emmy fall to the ground. Odessa is amazed. Holy crap. Maybe Emmy's stronger than all of us. Maybe that's what the problem was with Hester, right? That she was stronger than them and they couldn't do anything about it. So they just banished her. When that happens, Emmy does some magic and makes the house appear now back in Harrow County. So that she's out of the wasteland. That, of course, brings all the other of the group back to the house. And they're like, what the hell's going on? Emmy's like, no, this is my freaking county. I love this county. You're all going to be banished from here. Yeah. Kaboom. The house disappears. They go with it. Here we are. No more house. Just in the middle of a field. Emmy with her little skinless boy familiar. And she says, let's go home. And that's the end of the chapter. Interesting. We learned a lot, actually, in this 4-chapter series. We learned a little bit of backstory about Emmy's, well, Emmy's not mother, but, you know, the woman who was going to take care of her when she was a little baby. We learned a little bit about her. We learned that there, again, are others and that have as much or close to as much power as Emmy does. They normally don't ever gather together until the house appears and calls them to it. They're normally scattered out around the world, I guess. They say that there used to be legions of them, but they killed each other and they caused wars with each other and they fought and dwindled down the size so that they had to, of course, make these laws where you don't kill each other, but Hester did it anyways, so it's not like you can't actually do it if you wanted to do it. And we find out that Emmy is really super strong, and it's probably getting stronger. So, that's interesting. That's Omnibus 1. Please check out all the other videos we've done on this so you can catch up if you haven't seen it. Also, we will be starting in 2 weeks. You will see us with our next edition of Harrow County, and we'll be reading from Omnibus 2. There are 2 total omnibuses, in the series that compile all of the comics. And I will tell you that I'm looking at it now, so it doesn't shock me when it happens. But it says that art in issues 17 and 18 are by Carla Speed McNeil. So it looks like we're going to have another 2 chapters, yeah, I can see, that are a little bit different art than the rest of the series. So anyways, I hope you stick around. I hope you check out Grozz's channel on the GKBC. And I hope you come back in 2 weeks when we start the next 4 chapters in the Harrow County read-along with the Marvel-ous team-up. Alright guys, if you found any entertaining value in my videos, please like, subscribe, leave me lots of comments. I hope you had a great Christmas. I hope you have a great New Year. Another New Year's coming out, and we'll see what happens. So until next time, Peace out.